God created sex. Sex is a gift from God above for us humans. In Genesis chapter 2, verses 24 and 25. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife were not ashamed. God created something beautiful for us humans to enjoy. A gift from God above is sex. I have a quote I want to read is if you have had sex outside of marriage, you haven't experienced sex. All you've experienced is sin. If you have had sex outside of marriage, you haven't experienced sex the way God intended. All you've experienced is sin. So just imagine if you've had sex outside of marriage, how beautiful it will be if you and your wife or you and your husband wait till marriage and you're able to have sex the way God intended it. How well He will bless this gift in your marriage. Just imagine that. Sex should be enjoyed with one partner, one person your whole life. Within marriage, until death do you part, until you or your spouse dies. And we should enjoy it forever. Another quote I want to read is, it's the glue that keeps marriages together. It's a gift God wants us to have, to repopulate the earth. Something intimate you can have. You can love you and your spouse's body. Something that God has created so beautiful. The devil did not create sex. The first sin in the Garden of Eden was not sex. Sex isn't meant to be a dirty thing. Our society and Satan has warped God's gift into something it's not. It should be celebrated between you and your spouse. It should be something intimate and fun and happy and joyful and not dirty between you and your spouse. The devil's warping it into something it isn't. He's turning God's gift inside out. Our society has completely taken sex and warped it completely against what God wants it to be. Sexual immorality should not be taken lightly. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. Flee sexual immorality. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body. This is the only sin in the Bible that tells us that it's against our own body and that we should flee from it. Because we are not strong enough as humans, disciplined enough, have enough self-control to conquer lust, to conquer sexual immorality. It's the only sin we should flee from. Just like Joseph fled from Potiphar's wife because he physically got up and ran. Because we're not strong enough to conquer this lustful desire within us. Our flesh is too strong when it comes to sexual immorality. So he tells us to flee. Our society sees sex as a product. When the cost is low, the amount of time, energy, money you have to put in is low, but the quality is high. You found a good thing. You found a friend with benefits. You found something you should hold on to. Why bother marrying? Because sex is what our entire society revolves around. But when the cost gets too high, too much time, too much energy, too much money has to be put into it, and the quality starts to go down, you need to get rid of that girl. You need to get rid of that guy. You found something horrible. You need to ditch them and go find somebody else. God created sex for us to enjoy. Look at what the devil has warped it into. It should be something we should enjoy between a man and a woman within marriage until death do them part. Do not let the devil tempt you and you fall into your lustful desires. It's something that can cause so much trouble down the road. It can destroy your future marriage, your future families. I mean, your future generations on down the line in your family tree. Your future lineage is relying on you to not fall into sexual immorality, because who knows how many problems can arise from it. God created sex for us to enjoy the right way. If you've had sex outside of marriage, you haven't experienced it. All you've experienced is sin. God created it for me and you. So let's take advantage of it and wait until we get married and stay away from pornography. And don't let the devil tempt us and we fall into sexual immorality. God bless.